welcome back to my channel. My name's Sophie and today's video is going to be a spoiler-filled reading vlog for the entire Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. So as I've said, this is going to be a spoiler-filled reading vlog. So if you haven't read the series and you don't want to be spoiled, please do stop watching. But if you have read the series or you don't really care about spoilers, please do continue watching. So let's get right into the first book. Hi guys, so I just thought I'd give you a quick update on Flawless by Elsie Silver. I'm 150 pages into this. I'm really enjoying it so far. So a quick synopsis, we're following Rhett and Summer. Rhett is a cowboy slash bull rider and Summer is newly qualified in law who works for her father's management company, and Summer's father is Rhett's manager. So at the beginning of this book, a video is leaked of Rhett and it's really silly. But in the video, he tells a reporter that he doesn't like milk, which is quite a bad thing to say considering he is sponsored by a massive dairy company. Things get a bit out of hand and Rhett does punch the journalist. This loses him the sponsorship, a multi-million-pound sponsorship, and Rhett's manager and Summer's dad is not happy. So he wants to turn Rhett's image around and he tasks his daughter Summer with basically babysitting Rhett for a few months to make sure he doesn't get himself in any more trouble. Summer, who's a bit of a city girl, goes to live at Rhett's family ranch with him for a few months. So you've got a sort of close proximity trope there. I'm really enjoying this one so far. I'm loving seeing Rhett and Summer's relationship develop. I can see so far that they do really come to care about each other. Even in just the 150 pages I've read, Summer is starting to participate in some of the jokes that Rhett's brothers are playing on him. There was the whole milk scandal. Rhett is sat in a pub with a group of girls who all think that Rhett is interested in them and he's really not. What they do is task the barmaid with sending over milk related drinks from his future wife. Obviously he doesn't have a future wife, it's just a joke. But Rhett's reaction to it is really funny. I don't know why just the whole milk thing is just so funny. I don't know why, it's just such a silly thing. I mean, it's not silly because obviously his multi-million-pound deal was with a dairy company, so it's not silly to him, but just reading about it is just kind of funny. I'm also really loving the family dynamic that we're seeing so far. I'm loving seeing Rhett's soft side with his nephew and just also like the humour between the family, between his brothers and also the father, who I think he's called Henry, but I can't quite remember. He's really nice to Summer and he just seems like a really nice guy. They all just seem like really nice guys. Yeah, so I'm really enjoying this one so far. Like I said, I'm only about 150 pages in. I'll check back in you guys when I've got another update for you all. Hey guys, so I'm just coming in with another reading update for Flawless by Elsie Silver. I've read about another 140 pages of this. I currently have 100 pages left and I have a lot of thoughts. Also, in the previous clip, I referred to the dad of Rhett as Henry. His name's actually Harvey. I'm terrible with names. So I'm still really loving the family dynamic, and this also includes their friendships and how they treat people that they basically consider extended family. For example, Theo, who's another bull rider that Rhett works with, I love how he's taken him under his wing and is treating him not like a son, but you know, is giving him lots of advice and treating him how Theo's dad had treated Rhett when Rhett first started bull riding. I'm really loving that, and it also shows that Rhett's got a bit of a soft side and he does actually care about people. Leading into that, they do seem to genuinely care about each other. So at one point they're in a hotel together. The aircon in Summer's room isn't working. When Rhett finds this out, he insists that she comes and sleeps in his bed and he'll sleep on the floor. This is also when they open up about each other's family to each other. We discover that Rhett's mum tragically died giving birth to his younger sister, so Rhett doesn't have very many memories of her, and that's why his dad and his brothers are so important to him. We also learn about Summer's complicated family dynamic and her past health problems. I think the contrasting family dynamic works really well. It also allows Rhett to become quite protective of Summer. There's a scene in the hospital where they meet Summer's half-sister, Winter. Rhett does not tolerate Winter's disrespect towards Summer, and I really like this. This is before they've even gotten together. This is just them building their relationship with each other. This to me shows that they do really care about each other. They listen to each other. They give each other advice. You know, Summer's even trying to help Rhett with his rehab, with his physical rehab from his injury. She's clearly very interested in personal training, but she's gone into law to make her father happy because she feels like she owes her father for him giving time up out of his career to take care of her when she had all her heart problems as a teenager. And Rhett talks to her and basically says, you know, he's your father, of course he didn't mind giving up time. You don't owe him anything. You don't have to go into a career that you're not interested in just to make him happy. He'd be happy with whatever you do. And I completely agree with Rhett here. I also appreciate that she does the same back to him. She does defend Rhett to his brothers. They're constantly going on at him to give up bull riding and come and work at the ranch. And Summer actually defends him and says that the reason that he's continuing to do the bull riding is to make money for the ranch. They can continue to live and work there. I don't think any of Rhett's brothers realise this, so it's really nice that Summer defended him. I don't know why Rhett doesn't feel like he can say this to his brothers himself. I'm really understanding her hesitation to get involved with Rhett. Her career is really important to her. It's, like I said, it's really important for her to make her father proud and happy of her. I can understand why she's hesitant to get into a relationship because it doesn't look very professional if she's a lawyer hooking up with her client. So I completely respect that. And I also love that it's actually discussed in here as well. We also learn a bit more about Summer's ex-boyfriend, Rob. Now, he was the surgeon who operated on her as a teenager. So I know she says nothing happened until she was like legal, she was old enough, but it's still very creepy. And I do love that Rhett instantly calls this out and says to Summer, this is creepy, this is wrong. And I think she finally realises this for herself and she finally stands up to him and tells him to stop calling her, stop bothering her. I really feel like Summer has developed as a character. She's really standing up for herself now and I'm loving to see that. Also, I've just read the first sex scene. I do have to say I did find it a little bit cringe just because I don't really like when the characters are like trying to have a conversation during it. I just find it really cringy. Rhett was talking way too much. I could even tell that Summer wasn't really interested in the dirty talk. I basically preferred it at the end when she told him that she wasn't really comfortable speaking and doing dirty talk. I did prefer the very end of that scene. So yeah, I am really enjoying this so far. I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it. I've never actually read like a cowboy romance before, but I'm really enjoying this one. I'm really excited to finish. I've only got around 100 pages left, so I'll check back in when I finish this. So guys, I've now finished Flawless. So my final thoughts on this one. I do have to say I am cringing a little bit every time Rhett calls her princess. Personally, it's just not my thing. It just makes me cringe. It gives me the ick. It's not my thing, but whatever, everyone's different. I'm also really loving how thoughtful Rhett continues to be throughout this book. He gifts her something that means that she can try horse riding again, knowing that she loved doing it as a child, and I just love how thoughtful they continue to be of each other. Obviously, there was a confrontation between Rhett and Rob. Rob is the creepy ex-boyfriend, and it is actually revealed that he is Winter's husband, so Summer's sister's husband. God, that was just... yeah, that was just explosive. I can understand why Winter is mad with Summer, but surely Winter knows that Summer was literally a child and was clearly taken advantage of. And I do feel for Winter. Obviously, she tells Summer that she's now pregnant with Rob's child, and obviously at the end of the book we don't actually know what's happened between Winter and Rob because Winter is still not talking to Summer a year later. I really don't like Winter. Like, I feel bad for her. I feel bad for the situation that she's in. But I feel the way that she treats Summer is just disgusting. I understand that she's been manipulated quite badly by her mother, Summer's stepmother, because obviously their dad cheated on Marina and then conceived Summer with the maid. I understand as kids that Winter would be bitter and be horrible to Summer because as a child you don't really understand that it's not Summer's fault. It was the two adults' fault that this happened. But, you know, Winter's a grown woman now and she's still just so nasty to Summer. Like, their dad has a heart attack. I know Summer's dad said that he didn't want Winter to call her. Surely Winter in her heart knows that Summer would want to know and would have contacted her. Yeah, there's a lot of things that Winter does that I just really don't like her. I do feel for her, but yeah, I'm really not enjoying her character. Maybe... I'm sure one of the books later in the series follows her, so maybe I'll come to like her, I don't know. But right now, from this book, I am really not a fan of Winter. Obviously, the way that it happened with the news coming out about Summer and Rob when Summer was just 18, that relationship, I'm glad that that did come out, but I understand why she's not happy with Rhett in the way that it was her story to tell and he took that away from her, and he did do it at the worst time possible, you know, in the hospital when their dad has had a heart attack. It's not really the time and place, but I understand why he was so angry, and I do love that he's so protective and he does seem to really care about Summer. But yeah, it's just not the time and place, and I understand why she was mad with him. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I think I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars, simply because I found the smut a bit cringy. Like I said, I don't really like when he calls her princess and like he wants to have a full-on conversation. It's just not my thing. I don't really like sex scenes that are like that. It's just not my thing. I just find it really awkward and uncomfortable to read. I feel like I'm like intruding on the moment. It's just, I really enjoyed this one. 4 out of 5 stars. I can't wait to start the next one. Hey guys, so it's been a couple of weeks, but I have now started Heartless by Elsie Silver. In this one, we're following Cade Eaton, and he needs a nanny for the summer so that he can work on the ranch without having to worry about looking after his son, Luke. So, cue Summer's friend, Willa. This one is a bit of an age gap romance. He's 38 and she is 25. So we start this book with an encounter in the coffee shop. Willa is ordering coffee and Cade is behind her in the queue. They don't realise who each other is, and a pair of clean pants fall out of Willa's bag. Cade picks them up, returns them to her, and then obviously when they meet again at the ranch after Willa has been persuaded by Summer to be the nanny, they realise who each other are, and Cade is very standoffish from the start. He thinks that the kind of woman that Willa is, who keeps a pair of pants in her purse, isn't okay to be looking after his son. So the reason that he's so standoffish is to do with what happened with Luke's mum, but obviously at the start of the book we don't know what that is. So just a side note, Harvey is absolutely hilarious. He's the father of the Eaton boys, and at the, you know, just the tea time conversation at the table when Luke sat there, they're all having a laugh, and then Harvey says that he did a blowjob out in the garden to sort the lawn out, and he knows exactly what he said, and everyone's trying not to laugh. They're all making little jokes back, and Luke is just sat there. He's a kid, he has no idea what's going on, and it's really nice actually. Cade walks away and everyone thinks he's probably just a bit like, oh, you know, silly jokes, whatever. Willa follows him and he's actually laughing, so he does have a sense of humour. He is not just a sort of miserable man. He does have a sense of humour, which is really nice to see. And then after this is when they start to sort of become a bit closer and see a different side of each other. So they begin to spend their evenings in the hot tub getting to know each other. They play a game of truth or dare, and this is when it's revealed that Luke's mum, she was a one-night stand, and then they got married. She was very unhappy and she was cheating on Cade, and then she just left a note for Cade and just left Luke behind. She didn't want to be a mum. So that's what happened with Luke's mum. So you can see why Cade is so protective of Luke and why he's hesitant to let people into Luke's life in case they do the same as his own mother did. We've also had the bit at the pool party where the birthday boy pushes Luke into the pool and holds his head under the water. And it's really nice to see Willa being so protective of Luke. You know, the mum doesn't really care. They all think it's a joke when actually it is pretty serious, and Luke could have actually been really hurt. He certainly wasn't in on the joke. And Willa accidentally uses her hip to bump the kid into the pool, and Cade sees this and he is right there on Willa's side, sort of defending her, not having any of it, which is really nice to see. Obviously she probably shouldn't have pushed the kid in the pool, but you know, they started it, so you know, don't dish it out if you can't take it. As far as I'm concerned, good for Willa. And then we've just gotten to the point where Cade comes home after this and Willa and Luke are playing hide and seek, and Cade decides to join in the game. I think Luke probably runs off. I don't know what happens to him, but like he's certainly not around for this next bit, which is kind of a good thing. They start talking and then Cade and Willa kiss, and then things get a bit heated and I guess they start dry humping each other, and then you can tell that it's been a while since Cade has been intimate with a woman, as it's not explicitly said, but it is implied that he like comes in his pants. So there we go. So good for him. At least he's not denying that he's attracted to Willa anymore. Like he's just on board with it now. But yeah, I'm really liking the dynamic between these two. I thought it would be a bit, not weird, but I thought that the age difference might give me the ick a little bit, but I actually quite like it. I think Cade has been forced to grow up quite quickly with the situation with his own mother dying when he was very young, and he was the eldest, and it was kind of on him to sort of step up and help look after his brothers. So it's kind of nice to see him just having fun, letting loose and not being so serious all the time. And I think Willa really does bring out a really good side of him and just relaxes him a bit, and, you know, and does listen to him and cares for him. So yeah, I'm really enjoying their relationship so far, and I'm also really liking how Luke and Willa are getting along. I just hope that, obviously this relationship is going to progress, I just hope that Luke doesn't feel different near the end. It would be nice if they all just kind of get along. I know sometimes it's difficult with kids, but yeah, I hope that they continue to all get along. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far. I read those 180 pages within like an hour and a half, so yeah, I'm flying through this one. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm not sure if I'm going to like this one more than Flawless, but I guess we'll see at the end, see what happens. But yeah, really liking this one so far, and I'm actually really enjoying reading from Cade's perspective. So yeah, I'll check back in with you guys maybe in like another 150 pages. But yeah, loving this one so far. Hey guys, so I'm now 300 pages through Heartless. So just to give you a quick recap on what's happened so far. So we begin with Luke becoming ill and Willa taking care of him, and then Willa catching the same illness and Cade taking care of her. So it just goes to show that Cade is not just a grumpy man that he's kind of come across to be. He does actually care about Willa and does want to see her get better. And then Cade competes in a rodeo competition that Willa dared him to enter, and then after this Willa goes out on a date with the guy Lance that is competing with Cade. She wants Cade to tell her to not go, but he doesn't want to. But then he spends the entire evening sulking and being completely jealous. And then when Willa comes home, they have a bit of an argument and then kind of give in to their feelings for each other. And then she gives him a blowjob on the porch and then just walks off, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, let me repay the favour. And then he gives her oral sex and then they have sex. And I have to say that the sex scene in this one was a bit better written and a bit less cringy than the first one. I definitely preferred this one. Obviously they were talking, but it wasn't so sort of like, yeah, just cringy. I just definitely preferred it in here. And then we follow the next morning when Cade picks up Luke from his dad's house, Harvey, and obviously he can see it written all over their faces and, you know, makes a bit of a joke and stuff, and he's just so funny. I feel like I would read a book just from his perspective of just like him coming up with these jokes that he's just like ripping into his sons for. It's just so funny. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this one so far. I think I'm actually enjoying this one a little bit more than the first one, just because like I said, I preferred the sex scene and their age gap does keep getting brought up. So I do think that that's going to be the cause of conflict in the latter half of this book. So I'll be interested to see how they overcome this. I mean, if they like each other, you know, it's not like he's 14, she's like 16, you know, she's 25 and he's 38. So they are, you know, she's not a kid, like a teenager. I mean, you know, she's not a teenager. So I don't personally see the issue. If they're happy, then that's that. But yeah, I will check in with you guys when I have probably finished. I've only got probably like 130 pages left. So yeah, I'll check back in when I'm done. Hi guys, so I've now finished Heartless by Elsie Silver. So I'll just recap the last sort of 100 pages and then let you know my final thoughts on the book. So we pick up with Luke's birthday party, and obviously his mum, Talia, who is Cade's ex-wife, appears. She has some things to say to Willa, and Willa gets a bit upset and angry, and then Cade comforts her. And then later on, Cade breaks his fingers and has to go to the hospital, and Winter, Summer's sister from the previous book, is the doctor, and Willa and Winter, that's kind of funny. Willa and Winter have a bit of a catch up, and Winter does want to reconnect with Summer but feels embarrassed to do so. So I think later on there is a book about Winter, so I'm guessing this is going to happen in that book. But I might be wrong about that. I can't remember who the female leads are for the later books, to be honest with you. And Winter is talking to Willa about how close she is to Summer, and even jokes that their periods are synced up. And this is when Willa realises that she's actually late on her period. Winter gets her pregnancy test and it comes back positive. Now, unplanned pregnancies in books are not my favourite trope, so this is kind of where it went a little bit downhill for me. I just think it's not lazy writing, but I just feel like it's a quite easy conflict point for them to do. And yeah, so I was going to give this a 5-star, and for me this bumped it down. It just wasn't my favourite part of it. As Willa is driving Cade home, she then tells him that she is pregnant, and then there's a little comment about, oh, you're so young, because of the age gap between them. You know, he acts like she's like 18, she's 25, like she's not a child, she is quite mature for her age. So there's a bit of an argument there, and she decides to go and stay in the main house with Harvey, Cade's dad, just so they can have a bit of time apart. Cade comes over, sleeps outside Willa's room all night, and in the morning Willa tells him that she needs to go back to the city for a few days to have a bit of time to think for herself, and also tells him that don't feel obligated to stay with me just like you did with Talia, because this is obviously what happened with the ex-wife, is that she got pregnant and Cade felt obligated to kind of marry her and make it work, and Willa doesn't want him to feel obligated to do the same to her. If he wants to be with her, he needs to choose to be with her rather than feel obligated. And then Summer visits Willa in the city, and they have a bit of a heart-to-heart, and then Willa decides to come back to be with Cade. Then they reunite and have a discussion. This is what they both want. And then the book ends with the baby being born, and it's named after Cade's mum, who died in childbirth, giving birth to his younger sister. And then there's also a really sweet moment just before that where Luke is talking to Willa and asks Willa what the baby will be calling her, and she says, oh well, probably mum. And then Luke asks Willa if she wouldn't mind if he also called her mum, which I think is really sweet. And I really like how the relationship with Willa and Luke is just so sweet. You know, it was really well written, and she even jokes that she fell in love with Luke before she even fell for his dad, so I think that's really sweet. So yeah, that's everything that's happened in this book. So my final thoughts, as I said a minute ago, that I'm not really a big fan of the unplanned pregnancy trope. It's just not personally my thing, so that did kind of not ruin it, but it definitely made me lower the rating a little bit. But I do like how it ended. There was obviously a bit of conflict between them with the age gap, but I feel like this was kind of not brushed aside, but you know, he kept making comments, and then when they made up it was kind of never mentioned. So I guess that was just kind of plotted throughout the book to kind of cause a little bit of conflict, but not too much. But yeah, I did really enjoy this one. I do think I enjoyed their relationship more than Summer and Rhett's from the previous book, hence why I was going to give this one a little bit of a higher rating. So I think I'm going to give this a 4 stars on Goodreads, but I think it's going to be like a 4.5, 4.25. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one, and now on to the third one. Hey guys, so I've now started reading Powerless by Elsie Silver, and I'm 80 pages into this one. So in this one we're following Sloane and Jasper. Sloane is the cousin to the Eton boys on their mum's side. Her mum and their mum were sisters. And Jasper we have met in the previous books. He is a hockey player who lived with the Eton family when they were growing up. He had some family issues that we don't really know too much about yet, and for that reason Harvey sort of took him in and raised him as his own. At the very beginning of this book, Sloane is engaged to another man, and he's an absolute dickhead. Let's be real, he's horrible. So it's clear from the first chapter she doesn't want to marry him. She even says like she's settled for him, and her dad encouraged her to marry him for his own financial gain, because this guy's dad is going to be going into business, or there's some sort of contract that he wants, so if their children are married, they sort of have to work together kind of thing. And then literally just before she's about to go walk down the aisle, she gets sent an anonymous video of her fiance having sex with a stripper on his stag do. So she takes this as like a ticket out. She didn't want to go through with it anyway. There's even a bit where Violet, who's the Eton boys' sister, she even says sort of like, you know, if you want to go, no questions asked, we'll leave now. And she doesn't take her up on it, but then as soon as this comes through, her and Jasper flee the wedding, and then we've just found out that Beau has gone missing from his army tour. Sloane is just kind of following Jasper around for a bit. So this one is childhood friends to lovers, I'm assuming, and I think there's a slight age gap, only of about 5 years, because I think it's mentioned that Sloane wants to go to her prom with Jasper. Now, I don't know how it works with America. I don't know how the American schooling system works, but from what I can understand, Sloane was about 18 or 19 and Jasper was 24, so he said no to her because it wasn't appropriate, which is fair. So I think there's like a 5 or 6 year age gap, I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I'm really loving Sloane and Jasper so far. Like, we've seen little bits of Jasper throughout the previous books, but yeah, he's really interesting, he's really nice. And Sloane, like, I couldn't, when I sort of picked this up and it sort of said like Sloane, I was like, who the hell's Sloane? Like, it rings a bell, and it took me a while to remember who she actually was. Obviously, she was mentioned in the end of the previous book that she was engaged, and Jasper was like, no, like, so yeah, this one, I think this one's gonna be so cute, like, friends to lovers, like, we just love it. So yeah, I'm only 80 pages in, so I don't really have too much to say so far, but I'll check back in with you guys when I've read a bit more, and we'll see if I'm still enjoying it. Hey guys, so I'm now almost 300 pages through Powerless by Elsie Silver. I'll just give you a quick update on what's happened so far. So we're having flashbacks to both of their childhoods, so flashbacks to Sloane spending summers at the Wishing Well Ranch. And we've also had flashbacks to Jasper's childhood and just a bit of him talking about it to Sloane. So we now know about his sister's death. So what happened was the family, him, his mum, dad, and the sister were on, like, I don't know if it's like snowmobiles or what, or like jet ski, I'm not really sure, but they were out on like a ride, and Jasper crosses like an intersection and waits on the other side, and then signals for the rest of the family to wait. Now, him and his dad usually go out together, and they have hand signals that like obviously signify certain things, but his mum and his sister don't know those hand signals, and he signals to wait. Sister thinks go. She goes, she gets hit by a car, and unfortunately she doesn't survive. The mum, who had, I think she had like addiction problems anyway, turns to like drugs and booze to cope. And then the dad just like abandons the family, starts a new family. Jasper even said that he went to like his dad's house one day, and the dad saw him, like made eye contact and just like shut the blinds and didn't come over, like just pretended he didn't exist, which is really sad. And you can see why Jasper is so hesitant to tell Sloane about his feelings, because he doesn't want to lose the one good thing he has in his life. Like, him and Sloane are such good friends. She's always been there for him, and then I guess he thinks if he says something she doesn't feel the same way, he's going to lose the friendship, which obviously means a lot to him. Yeah, I kind of get that. We also learn that Sloane's dad, well, we don't learn Sloane's dad's a dickhead, we knew that, but we learn that he's even more of a dickhead. So throughout this, there's text messages at the start of each chapter, and Sloane's dad's like texting her saying like, you must come back, stop disrespecting me, blah blah blah. He doesn't ask if she's okay, like all he cares about his image. So she decides to ignore him, and this is relevant. Jasper and her kiss. So there's a bit with the snow, with, sorry, not the snow truck, with the truck. Brakes stop working, and he like handles the situation, and then he like has a bit of a moment where he's probably thinking about his sister and the accident and how he almost nearly killed someone else, even though the accident with the sister wasn't his fault. They kiss, and then that sort of like brings him back to reality, kind of thing. She thinks that he's only kissed her because it's like a territorial thing, like, you know, when kids, they don't want to play with a toy, but as soon as they see another kid with a toy, that's the only thing they want. She thinks it's kind of like that, but with like, that's how he feels towards her. And then he admits that he's always felt like this. The only reason he never actually said anything was because of her dad. Her dad actually threatened Jasper and his career, that if he ever acted on his feelings towards Sloane, he would ruin him, and he's got the contacts and things to do that, so he never acted upon his feelings. Sloane finds that out, and obviously she's really even more angry at her dad, but she's also kind of a bit, not hurt with Jasper. Like, I think her feelings are a bit, she's going through a whole thing, her feelings are a bit confused, she's a bit confused, you know, we understand that, she's gone through a lot. They stay in a hotel overnight, and for some reason, like, she wants to see his tattoos. She goes into the bathroom whilst he's showering, and then he's masturbating in the shower. He makes her watch, and then she discovers that he's got a ballerina tattoo, and obviously she's a ballerina. So that shows to her that he has always felt this way, because he didn't just like pop out and get this tattoo. He's had this for a long time. So that makes her realise that he's telling the truth. Not that she didn't believe him anyway, but he's telling the truth, and that he did actually always like her. They go to bed and he fingers her, but then she's still like confused about the whole thing, and then just like, thanks for the orgasm, rolls over, and that's that. That's a bit like, it feels like it's one step forward, these two, and then two steps back, which, I mean, you've got to have the relationship drama, haven't you? Also, just a side note, that I'm loving Harvey, the dad. I could read a whole book from his perspective. Like, if we had a book maybe split into the 5 sections where he's just dealing with the boys, because he's just so funny. Like, there's a This text exchange is at the start of each chapter. I wonder if I can find it now. So Jasper tells Harvey that they're staying at this hotel, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'll call you from the hotel. We're all good, safe. You don't need to worry. And then Harvey's like, come on, give me something. One bed or two. Like, he just knows when his boys have got it bad for a girl. It's just so funny. Just like the things he comes out with. I love him, and he's like my favourite character in this series. He's so funny. I think that's kind of everything in this update. Oh no, actually, just quickly, Sloane's mum. So I do like her. I think it must be quite difficult for her to be married to a man like Sloane's dad. He's very overbearing and in control. Sloane's mum seems to be the only one who actually cares about her. So she messages Sloane and is like, oh, are you okay? Let me know you're safe. Whereas, like, the dad and the fiance are like, get back here, you embarrassed me enough, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, I'm also really loving the friendship between Sloane, Summer and Willa. I feel like Summer and Willa have taken Sloane under their wing kind of thing. Even Violet, like, I think Sloane needs to surround herself with good female friends that actually care about her, and I think these are the girls that do actually care about her, considering they don't really know her all that well. They're being really nice to her, much nicer than Sloane's like actual female friends. Yeah, I think that's kind of it for this update. I think what's about to happen is they're about to have sex. But yeah, I think I'll check in when I finish this book. We've only got about just under 200 pages left. So yeah, I'll come and check in with you when I finish this one. But yeah, loving this one so far. Let's see where it goes. Hey guys, so I've now finished Powerless by Elsie Silver, and I think I'm going to give this one a 4.25 stars if I'm being specific. So I definitely enjoyed Heartless the most, then this one, and then Flawless. But yeah, I really enjoyed the friends to lovers dynamic. I also really enjoyed Sloane's character development. She started this book sort of not very confident, in her shell. And then at the end, she's really come out of her shell. She's really standing up for herself. I really enjoyed the resolution between her and her dad and the fiance, whose name is Sterling. He's just so, like, annoying. We don't need to know his name. But they went to the steakhouse together. He booked it for her birthday with his wife, obviously Sloane's mum. Sloane's mum has actually really unexpectedly left her husband. I didn't see that coming at all. So that was nice to see. And she's been living at the Wishing Well Ranch with Harvey, much to Harvey's amusement. No, of course Harvey took her in, but he said, she went years from having no opinion and now she's just given opinions for everything. And it's really nice to see her coming out of the shell as well. So yeah, I really was happy with that resolution. I was getting a bit worried that we weren't going to get that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I really loved Sloane and Jasper together. It was also nice to see a lot more of Jasper. Like, in the previous few books, he's been very sort of like in his shell, hiding away. Like, there was this whole thing with he always wears his cap. And then suddenly when him and Sloane were together, like, he just never wore the cap again. He's stopped hiding now. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this one. This is definitely my second favourite in the series so far. I've got 2 left to read. Let's get started on the next one. Hey guys, so I'm just checking in because I have now started reading Reckless by Elsie Silver. I'm just over 160 pages in so far, so I'll just give you a quick recap of what's happened so far and then let you know my initial thoughts. So this one is following Winter and Theo. Theo is the Rhett's protege from previous book, and Winter is Summer's sister from Flawless, and they meet at a petrol station. They kind of stare at each other, they're attracted to each other, and then they go to a family dinner at the Eatons, and that's when Theo realizes who she is. Now, Winter is at that time married to Rob. There was a whole thing in Flawless about Winter, Rob and Summer, which I did go over at the time of reading. So Winter is in the process of divorcing Rob. Theo is 26 and Winter is 28. Now, it keeps mentioning that there's an age gap romance, it's 2 years. It's only being brought up because Winter is the older one. That's the only reason, let's be honest. And then Theo helps Summer back to the motel in a snowstorm, and then they spend the night together and have sex. And then it skips forward a couple of weeks and Winter discovers that she's pregnant and it's Theo's baby. She breaks into the gym with Sloane to get Theo's number because she doesn't want other people knowing about it so far, and tries to call Theo and ends up texting him, tells him that she's pregnant and the baby is his, and he responds with something like, oh, thanks for letting me know. So she thinks that he's not really interested. And then we skip forward 18 months, she's had the baby, and they're going to a rodeo in the town where she sees Theo again, and then Theo finds out that Winter's baby, Vivian, is his. And then we've just been spending time with Theo discovering this, him spending time with Vivian, and they've just told everyone at a Eton family dinner that the baby is Theo's, because Winter was telling everyone that it was a one night stand when she was drunk because she didn't want to like out Theo in front of everyone. And guys, I'm loving this one so far. So like, I didn't think I'd like Winter. When I read Flawless, I really didn't like Winter, but she's kind of grown on me. She's kind of made very brief appearances in the second and the third book, and I'm loving her. I love Theo. He's so sweet. Like, the whole mix-up thing. So basically what happened was that his number, his phone was given to a PR guy or something at the Hamilton sports management place, and he was supposed to, because he basically didn't want to be getting it with any buckle bunnies and stuff, so this guy was supposed to pass on any important information and he didn't, so that's how Theo didn't know. So Theo does actually want to be involved. But yeah, like, I'm loving this one. Like, I really am enjoying this one. I love Theo. Winter's really growing on me. I feel like she's been through a lot. Like, it's not easy having the mother that she has and having the upbringing that she's had. That's why she is the way that she is. But yeah, I'm loving this one. I'm gonna fly through this. Like, I don't want to put it down. I just want to keep reading. But yeah, I'm loving this one so far. And this is such a surprise because I didn't actually think I'd enjoy this one that much because I don't really like Winter. But yeah, loving this one so far. And I can't wait to carry on. Hey guys, so I'm just checking in because I have now actually finished Reckless by Elsie Silver. I just could not put this one down. I was just so, I don't know what the word is, but like, Winter and Theo have got like a little place in my heart. I love them. I just could not put this down. So I'll give you a quick recap on what's happened basically for the most of this book, and then we'll talk about my thoughts. So I still stand by Harvey is like the best. He's just so funny. So funny. And I love at the end that Winter was like starting to give it back to him. I wonder if we're going to get a book about Harvey one day. Like, I would really love to see that actually, because he's just the best. Love him. They have a sort of incident at the gym, let's say, where Theo eats Winter out. Like, the gym is like closing, and it just shows Winter is just really vulnerable. Like, all the stuff with her family has really made it feel like no one loves her, no one wants her for who she is, and like all this stuff with Rob as well. Like, I don't feel like she even says this, like, no one's ever really properly loved her or shown her love in her life. So when he like eats her out and he doesn't want anything in return, like, she's like, oh, do you want me to, you know, like, suck your dick? And he's just like, no, I'm good. Like, he wanted to pleasure her. He didn't do it expecting anything back. And I feel like she's lived her whole life doing things to make other people happy. She can't like understand, like, she takes it as an offence that like he's not attracted to her, when actually he's not doing these things to get anything out of her. Do you know what I mean? Like, he does it because he wants to, and that's really, she doesn't understand it. Like, she's just kind of like, what? So yeah, it was nice to see a bit more of a vulnerable side to Winter in this actually. That's really how she appealed to me a bit more. I really do like her now. I think what happened between her and Summer, like, yes, as she got older maybe she should have known better, but when they were children, I understand why she did the things that she did, because you're a child, you don't know anything about the world, do you? It was really nice as well to see Theo's mum and Winter bonding. It just sort of shows like you might not be able to pick your family, but doesn't mean that you have to surround yourself with them. You can surround yourself with people who are good to you, who aren't toxic, and that's exactly what she does. She basically sees, like, Theo's mum just accepts her straight away, is open with her, and it's just really nice actually that Winter has that kind of figure in her life. They also then have sex at Summer and Rhett's wedding, and it's kind of like, will they, won't they? Like, they both obviously like each other, but neither of them wants to admit to the other one that, and not wants to admit, but like, neither of them wants to pressure the other one into being with them. Also, Theo is just absolutely hilarious. I was just laughing out loud every time he made jokes about taking, so Peter is his dog, and he thinks his dog is deaf, but Winter is like, your dog is not deaf, because like, Vivi drops food on the floor and he comes running out to eat it, and like when Winter says something to him, like, she can tell Peter like hears her, sorry, and then he says something like, oh, you've got a medical degree, like, are you a vet though? Like, oh, maybe I'll take you and Peter to the vet together. And like, every time he makes that joke, it's just so funny. And then towards the end, Rob rears his ugly head again. He wants a paternity test. Now, there's definitely no way that Vivi is Rob's, because everyone comments about how Vivi is the doppelganger of Theo. And obviously as well, like, Winter and him haven't slept together in months, so there's no way. Theo doesn't really react in the way that Winter expects, so he questions, well, is Vivi actually mine then? He regrets it as soon as he says it, but like, him and Winter have a bit of a fallout. Winter flies all the way to where he is because he's on his championship, yeah, doing the bull riding stuff, and they reconcile, all's good. Summer also suggests that they finally report Rob for everything that happened. Now, Winter has wanted to do this, but she didn't want to drag Summer into it, so that's why she hasn't. And that's kind of what Rob has like not been holding over her, but that's why Rob is able to get to her so much, because Winter doesn't want to stop him by dragging Summer in. But the fact that Summer suggested it, Winter's really pleased with this, and that's what they do at the end of the book. We get a flashback to that night as well, that Vivi was conceived. So yeah, that was hot. And yeah, Rob gets what's coming to him. Winter serves him with papers, and yeah, it all works out in the end and everyone's very happy. But yeah, I'm going to give this one 4 stars. I absolutely loved this one. I just couldn't put it down. Like, Winter and Theo were not the couple that I would have put together, but they are just absolutely brilliant together. I loved what Theo brought out in Winter, and yeah, I just loved this book. So I don't know what order I'm going to put these in now. I'm going to have to wait until I read the last one and then like give you a sort of rankings of my favourite, but this is definitely just absolutely fantastic. Loved this one. So yeah, that's this one done. So read it in a day. Hey guys, so I have now started reading Hopeless by Elsie Silver. I'm just over 170 pages into this one, so I'll just recap what's happened so far and let you know what I'm thinking currently. This one follows Bo, who's the middle son in the Eaton family, and Bailey, who's the daughter of the Jansen family next door. So their property borders the Eaton family, and we've had dealings with them, like with the brothers, but not Bailey. We've seen her in like the bar as well. And the Jansen family have got a reputation for being just like awful. So the mum is gone. I think the dad's skipped bail, so he's not at the house. It's just the brothers and Bailey. And they've been involved in all sorts. They've been in prison, drugs, like everything. They have a really bad reputation. And because of this, Bailey has a bad reputation, even though she's a really lovely girl. Like, she works hard. She's just trying to, survive in this town. And everyone's basically kind of not out for her, but no one gives her a chance because of who she is and who her brothers are. Bo comes to the bar just to like drown his sorrows. This is after he's gone missing and been found on his mission, because he works for like the military or something. So he's gone to the bar to drown his sorrows, and Bailey's there, and he's 35 and she's 22, so there is a bit of an age gap. And this definitely comes across like in the book, like later on, with things that she says and things like that. He's immediately attracted to her, and then he's like, oh god, I was a teenager when she was like a kid. So he's already like, no, I can't go there because she's too young for me. He finds out that on Sundays, Mondays and Tuesdays she closes up the bar herself. So she's working alone for a couple of hours and then closes up herself. And he decides that he's going to stay at the bar whilst she's there so that she's not alone when she closes up. And then they just kind of are chatting throughout these shifts and stuff. She decides to go swimming in the little river on the Eaton property. So she climbs over the barbed wire fence that Bo had put up, and he finds her there, and they start to get to know each other a bit more, like on their shifts, well, her shift at the bar. And she sort of says, she just wants to get out of this town and go somewhere where no one knows her. So like, she had a job at the hospital as a porter, and her brothers actually tried to break into the hospital to steal drugs, and she got fired for that because they thought that she was passing them information even though they had no proof. She definitely had nothing to do with it. They just fired her anyway. So she wants to get out of this town to somewhere where no one knows her and she'll get a fresh start. And Bo decides that if she wants a new last name, she can have one. So he proposes that they get fake engaged, because also his family are sort of on his back to go to therapy and like, are you okay kind of thing after everything that happened. So it kind of benefits them both that his family will get off his back and people start treating her with more respect. She then reveals here that she's a virgin. And he's like shocked because she's 22, but like she said, no one wants to come near me with a 10-foot pole because of who my brothers are. And they have this like weird conversation about anal sex. So at the bar, one of the guys there, he comes every now and again and he watches porn like at the bar. He's always watching anal sex, and she finds it kind of funny. And Bo can kind of see what's happening here. So he can see this guy looking at Bailey's bum, like, and he knows what this guy's doing. So he confronts the guy and tells him like, get lost and stop being a creep. So Bailey really appreciates this, and that's how the conversation about anal sex comes up, and that's when she reveals that she's a virgin, because she asks him if he's ever had anal sex, and he's like, oh no, have you? And she's like, I've never had any sex. Yeah, she's definitely very, not naive, but very like innocent in that respect. And I think that as well makes him think like I want to protect her, but like he does want a relationship with her as well. Like he's attracted to her, he does want that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a bit conflicting as to what he wants. And then he does buy her an engagement ring, and he buys her this like really flashy, lovely ring. And when she gets back home after wearing it at the bar, her brothers try to break into the trailer and steal it, and she ends up again down by the river, and her and Beau spend the night sleeping by the river. And she goes back to her trailer the next day. Her trailer's been completely ransacked and all her stuff wrecked. Her tyres on her truck have been slashed as well, so she can't get to work or anything. And Beau just is like, I'm going to sort this out. I'm sorting it out. And he just tows the trailer to the Eaton property, and he sorts her car out and everything. And it's really nice. But at the moment, it's kind of giving me like protective older brother vibes rather than like relationship. Like the two of them together, when they're talking about relationship, is really nice. But then like some of the things he does, he almost sees himself as an older brother to her. Like I don't know, and it just I don't know about I like them together, but I also don't know about them. I'm really conflicted about this relationship. They tell all of the Eaton family, so Beau summons them all for a family dinner. He tells them all that they're engaged and they're all really happy. Like, and then we also get a little thing with Harvey and Cordelia, which is Sloane's mum and Harvey's dead wife's sister. Like they're like together, they're a thing kind of. So that kind of weirds all the boys out as well. So her trailer is now next door to his house. Her trailer's really hot. He tells her that she can come and sleep in the house, and she won't. Eventually she does. She decides to sleep on the sofa. He comes down in the middle of the night and he's like naked, and he's like, oh, if you want to see more, just come upstairs. Like, and then he has nightmares every night at 2:11 a.m. and she goes in because she can hear him like screaming, and he like pulls her towards him and like they cuddle, and then just like he ends up fingering her, and then immediately afterwards he's like, oh, I took advantage of you, I'm so sorry. And then like he won't talk about it with her, he feels really weird about it. And yeah, that's kind of where we've gone up to. So they've kind of made up, like he's told her not to come into his room at this time, so they've decided to go swimming at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and they're just kind of getting to know each other a bit more. But yeah, like some of the things that she said, it's not even like the sex stuff, it's just like she's really mature with everything that she's gone through, but then she's also I don't know about this one, guys. I'm not sure. Like I said, I like the thought of them together, but actually reading them together I don't like. But then I am liking the book, but I kind of like them together as like not in a relationship. I don't know. And I don't like how this girl has done nothing wrong but have a bad last name, and everyone's just so awful to her. Like she applies for jobs and she gets turned down just for having the name, and then like people that she went to school with who actually knew her are just like horrible to her. I'm just like, you're vile. And also she would have moved away a long time ago if it wasn't for the fact that the property that her family own, obviously her mum's gone, her dad's skipped bail, he's not around, it's just her. I think she's got 2 or 3 brothers, and then it's her. They charge her rent to live on the property in her trailer, but they basically charge her the mortgage or the remortgage on this house. So that's why she can't go anywhere, because she's earning a lot. We're not earning a lot of money, but like most of it is going towards paying off the house that she's not allowed to live in. Just like, I really feel for this girl. Like, why has it taken Beau? Why does no one else want to help her? Like, and I'm not even talking about the money. Like, because obviously he buys her new tires and stuff and sorts all her things out. But like, just why is no one giving this girl a chance? Like, she's never. It's not like she was like her brothers and then has gone good or anything. Like, she was never into any of the stuff that they're doing. She's a lovely girl, and like everyone, I don't know, like I really feel for her. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this relationship. I'm gonna carry on reading and we'll see. I mean, I might change my mind, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one, guys. I'm not sure. Hi guys, so I'm just checking back in as I have now finished reading Hopeless by Elsie Silver. I did really enjoy this one. I'm going to give this a 4-star rating. So I'll just recap what's happened and I'll let you know my thoughts, and then we'll wrap up what I think of the series as a whole. So Beau and Bailey finally kiss properly. He is very attracted to her and he just finally admits it to himself. Also, Bailey keeps applying for jobs, she keeps being rejected. There's an incident with a hairdressing salon, I think. They're advertising for a receptionist. She goes for the interview. As soon as they see her name, they say that the position's been filled. She gets a bit upset, rightfully so, and then, tells them to take the advert down. And yeah, it's just, why do these people treat her like shit? No one gives her a chance. It's so frustrating. Bo also fixes her little horse Teddy that she had when she was a kid, that was destroyed when her brothers tried to break in, or they ransacked her trailer. And you can tell this is when she definitely is starting to fall hard for Bo. And then later on that same day, she goes to a coffee shop. Someone cuts her up in the line. Willa comes in and defends her. And she ends up having brunch with Willa, Summer, and Sloane. And Summer offers her a job at Hamilton Athletics, the gym that she owns. Bailey thinks that this is Bo going sort of not behind her back, but maneuvering behind her back to get her a job, but actually Summer just offered her a job because she thinks she'd be good at it. Then there's like a scene where she's in the bath and she asks him like, what do men prefer women's hair to look like down below? And then he ends up shaving her and then gives her oral sex, and that's that. He then takes her out on like a date into the city. They come home and then they end up masturbating together. Bo realizes that he does actually really want Bailey to be his real fiance, not a fake fiance. He speaks to Jasper, sort of breaks up with her, but she doesn't let him finish. She storms off. He comes and finds her and says, I don't want you to be my fake fiance because I want you to be my real fiance. He gives her the engagement ring back for real this time, and then they finally have sex. Brothers later that same evening try to break into a trailer. Bo goes out and threatens them, and he takes a gun with him and they scarp her. Following night, the brothers and the dad go to the bar where Bailey works, and they don't cause any trouble necessarily, but like there's a bit of an atmosphere. Bailey's obviously very uncomfortable. Bo kicks them out and reveals that he is actually the silent owner of the bar now. Bailey finally stands up for herself, has a huge go at her brothers and her dad, and that's like the last we see of them. But obviously, Bo revealing that he owns the bar really upsets Bailey because she thinks that everything that she's got has had Bo maneuvering things to ensure that she has, and she doesn't feel like she's actually earned anything herself, which is completely not the case. They have a bit of an argument, they don't speak for a few days, and then Bailey goes for an interview in the city. I think it's an interview for the university that she's applied to, or she's something to do with the university. Bo accompanies her because he actually has a job interview. Now, earlier in the novel, Bo revealed that he doesn't really like working on the ranch, and Bailey sort of tells him, like, we'll go and do something that you like then. And he reveals that he actually wants to be a firefighter, and he thinks that his military training can really help him here. So he decides to apply for a job as a firefighter in the city where Bailey was planning on going to university. So I'm like Bo Bailey. I'm probably getting the names the wrong way around, so sorry. So he's already planning for their future, which Bailey kind of realizes. Like, she thinks that she was going to go off to the city, they do long distance for a bit, and then he'd break it off. But he plans on being with her forever. And then she finally tells him that she loves him. He's been saying it sort of throughout the past few chapters at this point. She finally says it back. They eventually end up buying a house together, and then he tells everyone this is Bailey's house. When they invite all the Eaton family over for dinner, he reveals that it's their house and he'll be moving to the city as well. And Harvey's like, yeah, we'll state the obvious, like we all knew that. Harvey's just so funny. And Harvey finally admits that him and Cordelia are together. It's so cute. And then Sloane and Jasper announce that Sloane is 14 weeks pregnant. And then the book finishes with the epilogue of Cade and Willa getting married and Bo and Bailey kind of planning their wedding. Like, they kind of say what they want to do. But yeah, I really did enjoy this one in the end. I don't think Bo and Bailey are my favourite couple. I think I enjoyed the sort of, not pining, but like the will they won't they aspect of this. Like, Bo was very reluctant to be with Bailey at first. So that was kind of like kept me reading because I was like, are they going to get together? Are they going to get together? But yeah, this wasn't really my favourite out of the whole series. I did give it a 4-star though, so I still really enjoyed it, and it's definitely still a great instalment in this series. So if I had to rank them, I would definitely go Heartless at the top, followed by Reckless. I am actually bumping my ratings of both of those up to 5 stars, followed by Powerless, Flawless, and then Hopeless. We've got Willa and Cade as my favourite, Winter and Theo a very close second, Sloane and Jasper third, Summer and Rhett fourth, and Bo and Bailey fifth. But yeah, I absolutely loved this series and I'm so glad I finally read it. But yeah, that's it for today's reading vlog. If you've managed to make it this far, please make sure you like this video if you've enjoyed it and subscribe to my channel for more bookish content. And I will see you in my next video, guys. Bye!